From Rich Alvarez in Northern California, this is Video Game Fights. And now your host, Rich Alvarez.
Hello, and welcome to Video Game Fights, right here on the Rich Alvarez channel every Saturday at 12 p.m. And no, that does not mean in the middle of the night. That literally means noon Pacific Standard Time. And we are going to be doing the same thing that we always do, back to our regular 3 people instead of the 1v1 from last week. I'm Rich Alvarez. Let's go around the table and meet this week's contestants. To my left.
Hi, I'm Faith. I'm also known as Garrett Allen's little sister in some realms of the world, also known as Moon Eclipse. I love WoW.
And to her left.
That's all.
Matthias, nice to meet you. Massage person and utterly useless otherwise.
Yeah! And to his left.
I'm Andy Irish, creator of Sky Lizard Studios. You may know my work in such hit films as The Plumber Knight Returns and whatnot.
Also, fun fact, he created the logo that you see at the beginning of every episode.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is going to work how we usually do. We're going to have 5 regular rounds. Each contestant is allowed 2 minutes to give their answer, and after everyone has given their 2 minutes, we move on into a fight. And when I deem that there has been a winner, there will be a winner. After those 5 rounds, we will move into a speed round, the loser of which, or I should say the less fortunate unwinner, will be helping me judge people during the speed round. Is everybody ready to play Video Game Fights?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, then without further ado, round 1. And it's going to start with Faith. Faith, what is the best superhero game?
Let me think. Spider-Man 2, the one that came out on PS2, and that is because, oh, it's this camera, I'm sorry. That is because it revolutionized everything when it came to console gaming. The format of the game was new, the amount of subplots that you could do in game, as well as the diversity in combat was all like brand spanking new. And in my opinion, everything after that has just been a copycat.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
That's it.
All right.
That was the fastest argument we've seen so far, at 31 seconds.
That was quick. That's all we need. Matthias, what's the best superhero game?
Mine was Marvel vs. Capcom, because you had, I mean, like with, what's it called? Gods Among Us, Injustice, whatever it is. That one. I mean, it's just, it's overpowered supers. There's nothing, there's no normal, there's no relatability about it. And you have the Capcom versus Street Fighter, you have basically average Joes. Yeah, they've got superpowers, but you're still, it's basically like average Joe who can shoot, you know, energy ball out of his hand versus crazy powerful mutant things. So at least like if you kicked the butt of said mutant, you got a sense of accomplishment out of it. So you didn't, you know, it wasn't just, you know, super powerful untouchables, because really when you're fighting Superman, it's like the internet has argued it 100,000 times. He'd win. So, you know, for me, I was just like, no, I liked that game, because when I actually beat one of the mutants, like, you know, Storm or Apocalypse, it's like, dude, you're supposed to be invincible. Whatever, bye.
All right. Andy, what is the best superhero game?
The best superhero game is Batman. Arkham series, Arkham Knight specifically. It's really the first game, in pretty much everybody's opinion, I think, where you play it, and you're not just playing Batman, you become Batman. You have not only the fighting skills, which, by the way, the mechanics in the fighting controls are just the best ever. I mean, you feel like you're really doing all those moves. But then it comes to the puzzle solving, the detective mode, and the way they they do that sort of way where you can backtrack by getting new gadgets and you're able to progress through the level. Places you've been before with the new gadgets and using them it just feels completely like you're not touching a controller, but you're actually in the game. So yeah, Batman for sure.
All right. Well, I've heard a lot of fantastic opinions, and now fight.
Okay.
Yeah, no, bring it. What?
It was just too cluttered, in my opinion. It was just like, yes, the gameplay was good, but as I said before, I think it's just building upon kind of the breakthrough that was made by a previous game, Spider-Man 2, for PlayStation 2. And then it's like you can't even get through the whole game unless you're doing all of these side quests, which end up taking a really long time. And although they do like help diversify the gameplay, I just think it detracts from the main plot. Also, the main villain was not scary. Like, not an asset to the game, in my opinion.
We're talking about Batman Arkham.
What's a superhero game without the main villain being like the scariest, most badass guy that you want to beat? He's just he
gets injected with venom and becomes this enormous monster. But on top of that, all the way leading up to that, you're fighting all these other villains. Killer Croc, that whole scene when you're in the sewers is terrifying. You don't know when he's going to come out.
He's a super-powered fish or amphibian, whatever.
I would not like to run into him, but
thankfully you don't have to. You don't live in New York or any of the metropolitan equivalents of Gotham.
But it's Batman.
That was so critical in my mind. I mean, it's okay, you have all these subplots and you have all these villains that you get to fight, and then the Arkham Knight is the first 3 times you run into him, it's I'm gonna get you, Batman.
It's Arkham
now I'm gonna fly away.
Not the Arkham Knight.
I'm sorry.
Warning: it may produce spoilers.
all of the voice acting is just perfect. It's true to character.
Who was it that played Gordon?
Actually, I don't know the actor's name.
I don't know either, but he was excellent. That's a fine
Kevin
point.
Conroy, Mark Hamill. I mean, it's just like the animated series, but in a video game. The Riddler, Lionel Luthor, Smallville,
Squirrel,
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Amazing as a Riddler, and finding all those trophies. I am one of the guys that loves to 100% games. So you got your platformer stuff where you have to find all of everything, and you gotta find all the question marks, solve all the riddles.
Yeah, but okay. Other than how did you even find because when I played it, the biggest problem was you'd get quests and you'd have no idea where the hell you were supposed to go.
You were in the asylum. There was nowhere else to go. It's
it was this. Okay, I think I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Arkham Knight.
Thank you. That's okay. Then I am totally useless on this game. So yeah, no, that's totally scary places and things and Scarecrow. He would have been mine. But who would have been your bad guy?
One of the best sequences ever.
I'm sorry.
You said the bad guy wasn't scary enough. I assume it was Bane.
No, I'm sorry. I was talking about the Knight. Arkham Knight.
See, I'm not the only one who.
Andy, I think at the beginning of your argument, you said specifically Arkham Knight was the problem. So that's
Did I say that?
I even wrote down Arkham Knight. Well, so that's right. I think in the pregame you had said Arkham Asylum, but just now you said Arkham Asylum series, specifically Arkham Knight. So I think that's where we got a little.
I think I lose on that one.
I was going, because when she brought up. The Arkham Knight, I guess. Yeah, no, when she brought him up, that's why I was doing the spoiler thing, because I was like, and somebody's going to say who he is.
So I think that's what kind of got us off track for the whole thing. However, I thought that, well, first, before I get into what I thought, let's go to Fact Check Cam. Yeah. Fact Cam. Let's go to Jackie. Anything amiss?
I was just looking up the voice actors for Arkham Asylum to see what that was, but I was in the middle of that when you called out. So I did look for forums for the best superhero games, and all 3 of yours were great contenders on those lists. So I don't really have any facts to be able to spill out at you at the moment.
Oh, it looks like Garrett has something to say.
I did, yeah.
We don't have a camera for him though, do we?
I will say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we got all 3 of us in the camera now. I will say that in terms of just raw critical acclaim, just if we're just taking purely critic sort of adjustments, Arkham Asylum, I was looking at, did best. Assuming that the argument was Arkham Asylum, because if it becomes Arkham Knight, then that argument is not so much. Faith used a lot of terms that were revolutionary in terms of thing. I don't know that the critical consensus that Spider-Man 2 was revolutionary, but it's fair to say that it was well received and probably a good. Internet seems to be on board with the idea that it was a good step in the right direction as far as superhero brawlers. Mm-hmm. And there's undoubtedly a large amount of love for Marvel Capcom.
Yeah.
So the critics are in Andy's favor, but I don't know. I was really into Faith's energy.
Okay, let's bring it back. Oh, you have something. Sorry.
I have the voice actors. So Mark Hamill did the voice of the Joker, Kevin Conroy Batman, as usual. Tom Kane did the voice of Gordon, and the Riddler was Wally Wingert.
Wally Wingert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was him.
That was him.
Fair enough.
Cool. All right.
To what extent?
I thought that was a really good first round. You know, a lot of times we come on here in the first round, everyone's like just kind of getting used to it and everything. So you guys out the gate were, you know, very accustomed to speaking, and I thought you guys all did very well. However, I did feel like the person who gave the most reasons why you'd want to play it, why it is considered the best, and why it has a legacy was really Faith. So I'm going to give this first round to Faith. Faith wins the first round!
Well, I was so sure you had edged yourself out by only using 30 seconds. But I guess I'm not doing that.
I was kind of worried about that too, and I'm like,
She was
that's
concise.
it.
That's what's dangerous.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess so. You got 2 minutes, so feel free to use them.
Right. Moving on. Let's get right into round 2.
Do we get 2 dings for round 2?
And this time we're starting with Matthias.
Cool.
So Matthias, which existing video game series would make an awesome MMO?
The Fear series. Fantastic. You had the dynamic that it's set in current times, that it's in a relatable city. Like, it wasn't, you know, any specific city, but it's relatable enough. And you get away from the trap of swords and sorcery, because basically you think MMO, everybody goes to WoW, Aeon, Neverwinter Nights, which basically they're all the same thing, you know. And you get the fear aspect. It was good because there weren't a lot of jump scares. When they did something scary, they didn't necessarily need the high-pitched shrill sounds to scare you and to creep you out, which is kind of what killed the movie industry on that. But Alma was terrifying, and to have to encounter her in a world where you don't know where she's going to show up is going to be fantastic. On top of, you've got this whole city to explore. It's going to be falling apart depending on which game you go with. If you go with the last game in the series, the city was literally being torn apart by Alma's energy, so you'd have to contend with that on top of other players, because in that world everything was out to get you. You had the whatever corporation it was, I can't remember their name, Armacam, and they were trying to kill you. You had Alma, who was essentially trying to kill and or assimilate you, and then you had the non-sentient aliens, ghost, whatever the hell, the things that she would create that would try to attack you. So you had things coming from everywhere, and it was marvelous. And opening that to having the world playing it, you could have somebody playing Armacam, you could have someone being one of these sentient, scary-ass creatures, you could have somebody being an Alma figure or something like that, or just have her be a separate entity because she's a scary bitch. But anyway, yeah, so...
Time.
All right on time. Andy, which existing game series would make an excellent MMO?
I hope this someday becomes real, but I think the Fallout series. I have loved Fallout I can't, since 3 was the first one I played, and I played that a few times through. But even 4 was really great. I just love the idea of all the different factions that could possibly... I mean, you just basically throw in tons of other people, and you could start in different vaults. I mean, you could have... your leagues can be specific vaults that you could create. I mean, there's so many custom things you can do that way. But through all of the different villains, I remember playing through some like Fallout Vegas. Some of those things were a little tough to do on your own. So to be able to play with other players, to be able to party together and try to defeat certain monsters that are out there in the wastelands, also the different groups with the raiders. I mean, even the possibility of perhaps starting as a raider, and that's your character, your jump off point, and all the different jobs really that you could do. Not part of the main storyline, but you could be a doctor, you could craft things. There's just so much in the Fallout universe that I feel would really benefit from having a big group playing together. It'd be amazing. Let's make it.
All right. And then Faith, which existing video game series would make an awesome MMO?
For me, it has to be Mass Effect, and I know that there's been, at least in the forums that I've seen, a little bit of talk about that already. But to me, the reason why that one specifically would be really good is because obviously the whole plot of Mass Effect is like you're making these decisions as Shepard, and you're determining where you're going in the game because of those choices that are kind of succinct in one way, but also giving you availability to go the path that you choose in another way. I just love the dynamic of the game because of that, because it's these sort of like lose-lose choices. I think it makes the gameplay really, really interesting for me. But specifically, it would be a good MMO because I think it would be really interesting to see how those choices end up being worked into, a multiverse, and how your interactions with other people would cross those lines or parallel those lines, and would you be able to interact with other characters based on the choices that you did and didn't make. Plus, the universe is just really cool, and it's huge. So I think there would be a lot of diversity in gameplay because of that.
Okay. All right, you guys, once again, you gave excellent presentations, but what you gonna do when you fight?
The only problem I have with both of your games is that in Faith's case, it would be how do you make those the decisions, because their thing was you'd make a decision, it would piss somebody else off and it would make somebody okay, but how do you regulate that if you're making the decisions between players? How do you where do you drive that in?
That is an interesting question, and I don't have an answer for that. I think I have an idea of it would sort of kind of be like, I'm sorry, I gotta throw out the WoW reference because that's where I come from.
That's okay, because I'm using that to go after him, so.
But it's it's sort of like the factions in WoW. It's like, if you have groups of people that, you as a player are a part of, like maybe you join a guild or a league or whatever it is, and you're aligned with sort of that random team blue, and then people on your team are making choices that aren't sticking with the ones that you're supposed to make, then they end up being hated with your guild, and they end up aligning themselves with this other. So I think if you just make the groups bigger rather than think about it as this individual entity, this individual player gets to make all these
world quest choices that affects.
Exactly. You make the bigger group, and then it's not 10 million paths crossing. It's just several 100,000, if that makes sense. Problem I have with both of your games is the fact that going right on, rolling along, is that I just don't see why it would be any different than an MMO that we already have. Sure, both of the universes of your games are really cool and have really unique factors in the gameplay, especially Fallout. Big fan. But I just don't know that it would be that different from what we have, and so having this element of
but give me a real world MMO.
Well, the question wasn't whether it was going to be different; it's just what would be a good MMO.
I'm just saying that's why mine is good and different, because it would be
I would love
something
to play that
really
game,
unique and really
but
new.
I would not want to moderate all of the activities that go with all the players.
Well, the question is not would you want to moderate this MMO.
Could you imagine the disaster of how many different storylines would alter the non-player world?
If we can write a code that copies World of Warcraft into a free version and new realms of World of Warcraft on Australia.
But if we're copying code, then why is it an argument that mine's not any different?
I'm just saying, regardless, you're saying you wouldn't want to moderate that. It sounds like a tech issue.
Yours I have to eat because of the crafting thing. That's where the WoW thing comes in. You have to spend so much time crafting just to become to get functional materials. And the same problem in Fallout. You have that same thing. You have to go around, you have to gather materials, you have to get it so that you can craft and edit and augment and stuff, and you get so lost in doing all that crap, you get lost. It's either you do that or you functionally play the game and get through it.
I don't think that crafting needs to be a main part of the story. It's just one of the jobs you can do. Just like in Final Fantasy Online. Crafting is hey, I'm going to sell my wares, make some extra money. It's not something you have to do, but when you get bored of the main storyline, hey, it's some fun stuff to do.
And that's why I like mine, because you pick up a gun that already exists. You don't really have to augment it. You go around, you kill things, then you have to worry about, ghosts and other terrible things. And that's where I'm well, how do you figure it's like WoW? Because WoW, you're set and you have to go and do certain things. In this, you've got so many surprise elements that you'd almost never run out of things to be scared of.
Really quick, Andy, can you tell me why your game is more fun than theirs?
It's just more fun. I think the thought of the Fallout universe. all of the stories that are done in that post-apocalyptic setting, in that first-person view. I mean, we've seen it before, yeah, but just the massive amount of storylines you can do with multiplayer kind of behavior. So, I mean, I don't know anybody who doesn't like the actual Fallout games, but if you do, I don't know why you don't like it.
Okay.
Was that time?
What?
Was that time?
Was that?
Yeah, when the bell rings, it's time.
I have a slight question for you too, Faith. Why would you choose, personally, why would you play Mass Effect MMO over a Fallout MMO? What's your decision there?
I think that another element that I wanted to mention was the fact that I just personally think that the Mass Effect game has a lot more versatility when it comes to how you play the game and kind of the broadness of the universe. I think that the other two games are a little bit more narrow in the fact that they're more closely tied to the story, and so I think making specifically an MMO out of Mass Effect, you would be able to kind of explore the world without just hear me out, without risk of losing the essence of the game because you're like too far removed from the story, if that makes sense, because you're online and you're playing and you're not necessarily following one storyline when you're in an MMO.
Okay. Fact cam. Let's go to the fact cam. Jackie, did you have anything there?
I did.
I figured Jackie's going to talk about Fear's actual attempt at an MMO.
Yeah.
It did actually happen.
Did they?
There is Fear Online. There was Fear Online. Okay. Fear Online was an MMO first-person shooter.
MMO.
Yeah.
As loose a term as it gets.
Yeah. And it was released in 2014. Seemed like people liked it, and then they took it away. And then all of a sudden, people came out and they were like, "Well, I've never heard about it." And
yeah, that's totally. I was obsessed with the Fear games. Okay, well then,
and it was never really. Here's where I'm certainly going to make the argument that you're safe is because I don't think it was a true MMO. It was really it was a kind of slimmed down Fear game with multiplayer co-op.
Yeah, and that's why I figured I was safe, because the only thing I ever knew was the third had the online, but...
And for what it's worth, it was bad, but I think that's more a developer thing than anything else.
Yeah.
People have attempted that road, not really that thing. That being said, if you look online at the... Why'd you cam off me?
I was just going to say, that's really cool. And no, that's why we have that cam so that we can figure these things out. However, since nobody brought it up, it does not hurt Matthias or help him.
Fair enough.
Because it wasn't part of anyone's arguments, which is what we really look at.
Okay.
All right, Garrett. So here's what's going on here. So, wait, first, did Jackie have any more facts?
I do.
Okay, let's go back to Jackie.
Uh-oh.
Okay, there
I'm on
was...
the chopping block again.
There was also a very short-lived Fallout Online.
No.
And that didn't happen at all because so what I've been reading up on it is that it never happened because Bethesda sued them for starting it up, and
That was the Interplay MMO,
yes,
right?
they were sort of involved with it, but then they left, so they still had a right, but not really. So it, out of court settlement happened, and it's not, which sucks.
That does.
That's most of the reason none of these games will ever come to MMO Lite is because of the money issue.
Yeah, it was a good question. Anything else, Jackie? All right, so here I will come back to you, Garrett, in just a second.
Cool.
All right, Derek, so here's what's going on here. I thought, once again, you guys all had great presentations. But this game is really all about the arguments. I mean, obviously, your opening presentations matter for the arguments, and they also matter for me to just kind of hear where you guys are at. But as far as the arguments go, I just felt like I was really between Faith and Andy. Not that you didn't argue well, but they sold me more on why theirs could work as really good RPGs, MMOs, which most of the time are RPGs. But I really was hearing real games from them. So that's where I'm actually at right now. So I don't have a definitive winner. Back to Garrett. So Garrett, who do you think out of Andy and Faith, who had the stronger argument? Who did you believe?
Who did I believe? I mean, I like Faith's energy, though I will say, and Faith ultimately presents more compelling rhetoric, but at the end of the day, I think Andy's arguments was probably backed up by a little more information. It's also worth mentioning that objectively, just if you mill the internet, there are more people asking for a Fallout MMO right now. But I don't know that matters. But yeah, I'm a little torn too because Faith's presenting a nice emotional argument and Andy's presenting a good fact-based one. I'm a tiny bit in favor of Faith though, but I worry that I'm biased because I just objectively like Mass Effect better.
We do get game tastes from the same.
Mass Effect has never won a round of this game ever.
Yeah, usually. So Faith, because Mass Effect 3's ending was bad, it can't have an MMO.
Yeah. No, that's not what I'm saying here at all.
On Richie's show.
Derek, super
Richie
quick.
says goes.
Who do you think has the better arguments?
Well, I can't. In fairness, say that because I obviously want to Fallout MMO. That would be amazing. So I'm totally biased on this one.
Jackie, do you have an unbiased opinion?
My bias aside, I don't say that. Unbiased opinion. I do think it was between Faith and Andy, and I'm just gonna go with Andy.
Faith, you are loved, but
Listen to your heart.
Andy gets the point. Andy wins the round.
Not this time, Mass Effect.
So
Maybe
it's
next
one
time.
for Andy and one for Faith.
I know. I wanted Mass Effect to win. Just on
Actually, yeah.
Garrett's over there like,
Yeah, Mass Effect comes up in just about every episode, and it's just a coincidence that whoever picked it didn't win it.
it's not like you have one Alan on every show.
Right.
Nothing like that.
Just because you share a mother.
So that's my, okay. So now we're moving on to round 3. Okay,
Hey, my mom
Andy,
likes
they were
Mass
starting
Effect
with you this time.
All right.
Pitch the next Grand Theft Auto.
The next Grand Theft Auto that I would love to see, since we've been seeing a lot of these games based off kind of modern times, 80s, there was the Vice City, but just picture Grand Theft Auto 2049. It's got that sort of Shadowrun, Blade Runner, kind of a futuristic
that
setting.
we all love.
It's you've got say if you've got cybernetic type of implants, you've got hacking, there's online stuff you can do, corporations have taken over the government, and it's basically the mafia are the companies that run the world. You've got really sweet flying cars that you could steal and throw people off of buildings. You could even kind of expand it into a more vertical space than, say, Grand Theft Auto 4. I mean, they have some really cool buildings. You can kind of helicopter at the top too, which is kind of neat. But you're in flying cars, and it's just something I think that would make a really cool Grand Theft Auto. Just mainly because it's just kind of futuristic. I mean, where else can you go unless you go into the past? But flying cars.
Flying cars.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto in space. All right, Faith, pitch the next Grand Theft Auto.
I'm not gonna lie, I like that a lot more now that because you mentioned earlier just the the bare bones of it, and I was like, whatever. And then it's like, cool,
Now you're
yeah,
having to
exactly,
argue
flying
with
cars.
yourself
And
about
now
it.
I'm kind of like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I'm still gonna make the argument that ultimately that's just another skin on the same game, which is why I think that it wanted something. It needed something to change the gameplay a little bit more and change the plot line, which is why I voted for a mashup. And I was thinking, what mashup would make Grand Theft Auto good so that you can change not only the aesthetic but also the plot line and integrate new elements into this game that has seen the same thing over and over and over with slight modifications. And I thought, goodness, I can't think of anything. Better do a throwback, Twisted Metal. So that's what I'm going with. Twisted Metal, GTA, mashup. You get the best of both worlds. New aesthetic, new plots, sort of. That's what I'm going with.
All right, Matthias, pitch us the next Grand Theft Auto.
I swear I'm not trying to go for favor because I picked it. But the problem with Grand Theft Auto is it's the same game. Like she said, it's a different skin. And in this case, you'd have Liberty City, Vice City, city, whatever city you call it, it's still on Earth.
City.
Yeah,
City.
whatever city you call it, it's still on Earth. So we're going off planet this time, and we're going to go to the Red Planet, where everybody is scrambling to try to talk about colonizing. Literally GTA in space. There's untapped resources, there's, potentially untapped alien creature, whatever the hell's, but everybody knows the best way to get a heads up on resources is to be the first guy there and get a good hold. So we've colonized Mars now, and we're taking our people, and we're going to get, some random lucky scumbag who gets the ticket to go up there, and he's going to be who, he starts to settle the deal. And, they have no idea if somebody's already gotten up there and gotten a hook in, because they've had the colony there. You'd have to before you start sending the average Joe. And so he gets up there, and then that's when you find out, other people have started to try and take chunks and claim things. And so that gives you a whole new reason to be a bloodthirsty, cold-blooded killer. And I mean, you've got a Mylar suit between you and freezing to death. So you've got a bunch of different elements you can deal with. You have a whole new terrain that literally almost entirely hasn't been explored. Lots of places to hide bodies. I mean, have you seen some of the craters out there? Just huge holes to hide bodies. Nobody'd ever know. And it would be a fresh take. You'd be revitalizing the GTA franchise, because it would be Grand Theft spaceship. Seriously? You have huge, world crafts. You could steal one of those, just, drive it into the planet for the giggle at the end of the game once you've got all the resources. It's what I did, okay? I got super cool on GTA, and then I went and just started blowing stuff up.
Okay.
I was watching.
Matthias wins the award for just most utilized time space of this video.
All right. And
I know
with
I'm
that
not getting
said,
points.
It's time to fight. Oh.
You missed.
What was it you said off camera earlier?
Which part?
The cold-blooded, cold space.
Yeah, no, it's really easy to be cold-blooded when you're already halfway to freezing.
I love that.
Yeah, no, that's totally the thing, because literally you cut the suit and you'd be turning to ice block.
Okay, that aside.
Yeah,
sorry.
what?
I wanted to remember that because that was good.
Okay, it was fantastic. It's not going to get me a point, but tear me down. What did I do wrong?
Ultimately, both new skins. New skins with new elements to the gameplay, but I'm looking for new plotline.
How do you change a game
Throw a totally different set of characters in there.
I was working with a game that
New
has no
motives.
originality to it.
Come on, evil clown gangster? Parrot?
We should just mash all three of these together.
You go.
Space murder hobo clowns in future.
Get your last two mods.
Why am I blanking on the name of the clown in Twisted Metal?
It's Sweet Tooth.
Sweet Tooth,
So,
of course.
but
Tooth
nobody's really talking about, which maybe that's our own fault for our presentation, but we haven't introduced any plot lines. So really, these are kind of skins if you just see the surface.
Was there a plot line for a GTA game?
Well,
Yeah.
no. I guess
There
I'm
could
trying
be.
to counter what she was saying, is that our ideas are just a new skin, which that's part of it too, but all you gotta do is integrate an amazing writer to be able to take that new skin and use that terrain as a new playground to create all these awesome new stories. There's so many things in the future that you can do. You can even upgrade your own character in my personal scenario
But
have
it's still on Earth.
well, yeah,
It's still
when I came up
beat
with
a hobo, get $1, go and get hose and whatever, and
I'm gonna get myself.
Hose and
I'm
whatever.
gonna get cannon arms now because I can. So you could shoot people with that. I mean, if you're gonna take the whole sadistic part of Grand Theft Auto, which I thought the criminal
is the whole
aspect
plot
was
of the game.
kind of a big idea of it, but just the fact that you could do whatever you want, and imagine upgrading your whole body to be a weapon. So you could be in space, but you got a little Mylar suit. You're like, I'm gonna cut your Mylar suit.
Yeah, but you gotta. I have an advantage there because if you're thinking about it, by the time we get to space, we're gonna be in 2049 situation. So I get to steal from your game, have the badass technology that gets us that far, on top of once I get there, staking my claim in that world, and that would be part of the plot device's new version
At the
of murder.
end of the day, this sounds like a basic argument between players who want the game to be updated in the sense of how you play the character mechanic wise, That seems to be what you're both focusing on.
Yes, yeah.
Based on my interpretation.
With this particular argument of that, I mean,
Yes.
I could take my flying car and go to Mars and just blow you up with my cannon arms. So yeah, that's part of it. But
Give me the movie or video game that comes from, because I have never seen a flying car leave orbit. Unless it was being thrown by a monster.
But at the end of the day, I think bringing in a whole fresh set of characters would really add something to the game that the game hasn't seen before.
But I'm not putting Franklin in 2049. I mean, it's a new character. I mean, say we just skinned it as Blade Runner. I mean, you could be a replicant, and you could be running around and doing replicant stuff while Blade Runners, if you get enough stars, will come at you and try to kill you. That's so cool.
This one's actually pretty easy for me, but really quickly, let's go to the fat cam.
There's two games that overlap, kind of like I discussed.
So we're gonna save that until after you decide.
No, it's fine, Garrett. You can speak.
There's two games that kind of overlap with discussed ideas. We have Saints Row 4, which is ultimately similar to Andy's idea. Although I was actually going to point out the highly anticipated CD Red Project Cyberpunk 2077 sounds very similar to what Andy's anticipated. By the developer of The Witcher. I am over the moon about it. It is so cool.
Yeah.
That being said, I actually think that helps his case. That being said, Matthias, there was a Grand Theft Auto type game set on Mars, the Red Faction series, also very successful. Didn't introduce interplanetary elements though. I like both those arguments very more. I ultimately am personally excited with Andy on this.
Okay. Jackie, do you have any facts? Okay.
No, it's pretty hard to fact check things that people are pitching.
Yeah, this is a pitching thing.
Yeah.
Derek, did you think that anybody had the strongest argument here?
I got absolutely distracted by 2077. That game looks beautiful.
All right, well, it's all right. I actually, again, you guys all gave wonderful arguments, but man, I just fell in love with Andy's game when he was pitching it, and he also, I thought, defended it admirably. So Andy wins another point. Yay!
Sorry, Matthias.
So
We're here to do
one for
battle.
Faith, two
I
for
didn't come here expecting to win.
I don't know. You weren't really you keep saying like Grand Theft Auto has no plot, but no other game besides Grand Theft Auto 5 has really gotten me into the head of an ex-gangster who's also dealing with a midlife crisis and a family that hates it.
And see, I stopped playing before Vice City, so it was just kind of like at that point it didn't have a plot. It was go out, smash cars, do terrible things to,
go to this city
and do the thing and steal and kill and become a crime lord because and never get caught by the cops, because if you do that you just blow things up and run away.
Right.
Okay, for what it's worth though, you should really play Grand Theft Auto 5 because it's amazeballs, alright?
You realize I'm gonna have to do this now because he told me I have to.
And with that said, let's move on to round 4.
Oh god.
And that means we're starting once again with Faith. Faith. The question is, which video game deserves a full remake? And that does not include, up-reses or ports and what have you. So full remake, ground up. What's up?
That is easy, Richie. Overwatch. And I have no idea if this is going to be an incredibly popular answer because people are like, yes, dissatisfied, or if they're like, no, what? But to me, the game just could have been so much more, and it kills me. It just kills me that it wasn't more than it was. I think that there's a huge opportunity for more maps, more characters, more character development, which at this point you are becoming aware of the fact that I am very fond of my character development. And the fact that it had so much potential that comes from such a well-known game company that has an awesome record of producing games with a lot of substance to them, and that this ended up being a really cool graphic, point and click, very, very basic mechanics, shooter game, was so disappointing. And it just deserves a whole remake, and I'd like there to be more plot and more characters and more maps and something totally different, I would hope.
Okay. Matthias.
Okay.
Which game deserves full remake?
I've got to take from an episode back, but I totally want a Pilot Wing 64. It's got to be awesome. I mean, it came out with the 64. It was amazing. I spent hours upon hours upon hours playing it, but you got to play with all the nifty little tools, and it actually kind of made me want to go and try to hang glide and things like that, and got me out in it. But I mean, you could update it because there's all new like extreme sports to do. You could do my best thing I think would be the free fall suits or the wing suits. That would be super cool. So you replace hang gliding with that because you jump off a cliff and you're literally like scaling edges of cliffs, flying with that. That would be super cool. Specifically, it would have to be marketed for Nintendo because they are the ones who started with the motion controls, and it would be a way to actually functionally revitalize the motion control because everybody uses them now, but Nintendo did it first, and this would be for a way for Nintendo to do it better. You've got zorbing, you've got kiteboarding, you've got just all kinds of really cool extreme sport shit that you could do with this game. And then you bring back the bird suit, but you make it cooler instead of the crappy, totally not functional, physical, whatever, being a bird. But you bring that back and you use it and you revitalize it, whether you make it like, they're angel wings and they're attached or whatever, but you make the flight suit, the free-form exploration super cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Andy, which game deserves a full remake?
All right. My answer kind of revolves around the hope that maybe someday that this particular title will be licensed out to other companies, because I don't think Nintendo's going to jump on board for the VR world. I mean, maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I think, and not because the original was bad, but just to update with the times, is Punch-Out, but in VR. Or at least the VR option, so they could have all of those crazy characters that they have with the timing. You have to kind of get that down, but now you can finally move around the characters and punch them that way. You could still, even in the SNES version of Punch-Out, they had the killer clown. You could throw stuff and you could dodge all that. I think having that with some kind of virtual reality environment would just be amazing. And of course, it doesn't have to be photorealistic. Of course, we'd want to keep all those cartoon looks in that kind of maybe cell shading type of a
if you go with Nintendo
character. But anyway, I think Punch-Out would be amazing to be updated for modern technology, in VR specifically. But it could go for a standard 2D, but mainly targeting toward the VR option.
Okay. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's fight time.
Both of you give me the sense that, and in fact, you just said it, and you implied it, that this is more of an update of a game rather than a from the ground up remake.
Yeah, I unfortunately can't argue that. But no, you got a whole way that it needed to be redone. It needed to be revamped. The physics were... I'm not helping my case here because I'm arguing my own game. No, your game sucks. No. I think that, no, seriously, I'm going to be mean. See, and that's how terrible it was. Okay, I didn't even actually play Overwatch. No, seriously, that is one of the Blizzard failures of life was Overwatch.
It was a failure.
I'm hanging myself.
Thank you.
There was nothing about it that made me want to play it. So yes, please.
It's just another point and click game that the characters and the animation
so re-envision it. Let's do this. I'm totally up for reskinning your game. In fact, we'll just skin your game. We can call it Overwatch, but we'll rebuild it as something else. Because Overwatch sucks.
It has the money, it has the company, it has
the
design team, everything behind it. Where if you were to remake it,
in a way that helps yourself.
Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry.
Eat on another person's idea.
If you were to remake it, and you were to give the game a little bit more substance and give it a little bit more plot that makes it unique and not just a click, point, shoot game, it would be really cool. Really cool.
Okay, now for points that would make my game cooler, if we did the VR, and that's the part I forgot to friggin' mention, but no, it would be wicked cool for the Vive.
Yeah, I can't argue Pilot Wings.
See? Ha! There you go. I've taken him out of the running because he's not going to fight my game.
I want that. I want that more than mine. So,
there you go.
Wow, I think that might have been the shortest argument round ever. I don't even really need anything from you guys unless, Jackie, do you have a game-changing fact or anything?
I don't.
No. I do have a comment that the argument for Overwatch, we've been trying to get Andy to play Overwatch for a long time.
I know this is
So this is not helping.
Yeah.
Thanks, Faith.
We love Overwatch.
Actually,
Yeah,
I've never had anybody tell me that I should play that game.
The name of my Twitch is Rich Plays Overwatch.
Yeah.
I love Overwatch.
Played on it.
Overwatch deserves a remake.
So here's where I'm at.
There
Overwatch.
are a few games that overlap with their existing requests.
Yeah.
If that even factors.
No.
Or we can skip.
Here's the thing. I think that Overwatch is probably the greatest team shooter ever. But, and you guys have seen me, I have my Overwatch hats. My freaking Twitch is called Overwatch. But guess what, guys? I have to be unbiased and a judge on this show. It breaks my heart that Faith wins this round.
Really?
Because she just had the best reasons for why her game needed to be remade. Although nobody mentioned this, everything she has a problem with could really be fixed with a story mode, which they teased a little bit and they still haven't come out with. And that also is like my biggest bitch on games has always been like, oh, this game looks cool, but there's no story mode. Like I bitched so hard when Star Wars Battlefront didn't have a story mode. But yet, when Overwatch came around, I was like, "Oh man, it was just too awesome, even without a story mode." But there was always like people were like, "But Rich," I remember I got called out for it over at a convention. I was live on a panel, and I was like, "I don't like games without story modes." And they're like, "You're wearing an Overwatch hat." I was like, "Shit." So, except for that one.
In the beginning, you could have argued it did have story.
I just wanted to pop in for a second because I was going to the bathroom. I was the one that called him out on the Overwatch.
Oh, that's right.
You're wearing an Overwatch.
She drops a bomb and then runs.
Yeah, she embarrassed me in front of hundreds of people. It's cool. And, no, but I just have to say this because, again, people are going to be like, Rich, you like Overwatch. I love Overwatch, but I was tricked because I probably would not have played it at all if I knew that they were going to take this long on a story mode. I was promised a story mode. They're like, yeah, it's going to come in like within the next year, and never did. I already love the game though now. I'm already invested in it. But it could still use a story mode, and I think that that's one of the things. It's like Blizzard is so on point with everything. Where's the story mode? Like, you have so many great characters. There's a story there.
And see, I avoided giving Overwatch shit because I knew about his channel stuff, and I was like, no, that would be the way to lose the point. And here you go, you sneaky.
No, but that's my point. It's like, I got to be the judge, and so I often have to pick things that I disagree with because people have made such great arguments for them.
Yeah.
And so that's why Faith wins.
So should I buy it now or should I wait for the remake?
You know what? You can buy it.
Now, jeez.
I mean, honestly, it's just like it's still. I still play it. It's like if your intention is to just get online and play with friends,
Let's
it's
do it.
a great game.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
You know?
This weekend.
Can't win with Mass Effect. Can criticize Overwatch.
Again, it's all based on the arguments. The fact that Mass Effect has never won is pure coincidence. Wink and a wink, one out of none.
Wink.
No, but seriously. All right, round 5.
Oh god.
Woo! Back to Matthias. You start this one. How could VR improve?
First thing out of the gate, it's got to be more cost effective. It absolutely, they've got to drive down the cost, because for the people who live in El Dorado Hills and you know, the expensive towns, it's really, really easy to buy VR.
People on the internet don't know what El Dorado Hills is.
Yeah, no, and that's okay. You don't need to know. It's just a place you drive through anyway.
Probably get hit by a white girl in an SUV.
With her latte?
Yeah, with her latte.
So,
Add 15 seconds to his time.
but seriously, for the average Joe, me, because I can't afford VR and I really, really want it, I have to totally upgrade my computer. I'd have to totally upgrade a number of things and spend untold thousands of dollars just to be able to play something that they keep pitching the every dude can play, and I can't do it. While you have a lot of room to move around, you really don't. You're still limited by a box of space that you have to. What am I? I'm getting a look, and there's a thing, and it's.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me.
Oh God! I'm like.
VR behind you.
Yeah, I know. I know you have that, and totally, it's a thing. But you also have a huge room to play it in. See, I'm running out. So, it's you know, it has no, you have to have a specific amount of room. You have to have a thing. So if they were working on it, I can't remember what the thing is, but they had like that concave thing where they had people like running in it or whatever and doing the VR. If you did that, not only are you going to get people being, again, more active instead of sitting on their butts playing games. Oh God, down it goes. Murder the camera. That was awesome. And so you get people moving and being able to get the exercise by using that. I can't remember what the system is called, but they sort of were working on it.
Thanks.
On top of being able to move around more in games, you could refine the controllers by not having to have buttons on there specifically to allow you to move in the game.
Okay,
I'm done.
Super quick.
Time.
It wasn't on that camera when it fell.
It totally was.
If you want, we can start on Matthias again.
No.
As everybody gets vertigo as the camera plummets.
We should put that
We
part
should
up
have
in
all
VR.
yelled. That was happening.
All right.
That was the death of my argument. In case anybody was curious, the camera was like, "You lost.
Cool.
Shut up and go away."
Fatality. All right, we're good. We're good now.
Yes.
All right, Andy. How could VR improve?
Okay, VR is awesome. It's amazing. I have VR. I think a lot of people have VR. But one of the biggest gripes that I have is you can't really spend the time setting it up very easily. Sometimes you come home, you just want to sit down and get started right away. You don't want to have to mess with cables. I think the biggest, at least for me, one of the biggest things that could be improved is wireless, high resolution headsets. When you go wireless, that makes, that just makes it just makes things so much easier when you want to come home and sit into VR. Now, VR is awesome, and there's time and a place for VR. But if I have to sit on my couch and then worry about the cables kind of getting caught, on the side or whatever, or if you have people trying it out and they're standing, like doing the shark experience or whatever on PSVR, and then they start spinning, it's like, Dad, no! And then it just yanks right out of the system. That repairs, I haven't had it happen to me yet, but I could just see having to spend a lot of money on replacing things just because of the wire. So I think really there's not much else to say other than just wireless headsets. Wireless.
Okay.
The end.
Faith, how could VR improve?
Wireless headsets. Yeah. I am a big fan of just expanding its function. I would like to see VR go through another sort of surge in its kind of wow factor of gameplay, the way that it already has when it was initially introduced, and I would like to see that happen again. And I'm specifically thinking like VR recording, like able to make the experience even more interactive by being able to put yourself live in the thing that you're watching, if that makes sense. Like, for example, because this isn't coming out very clear, if you're watching this YouTube channel and you're sitting here and watching this video on VR, then you literally look like you're in front of our table and you're literally able to pan around while you're watching this live stream video like you're in the room with us. I think you just that that's what I'd like to see, because that's what VR is about. It's about being interactive, and I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now, because I'm going to start arguing before it's time to argue. So,
all right, and guess what? Now it's time to argue. Sweet.
Because I think that's what it's about. I think that that the other improvements to the actual technology itself, in the sense of like how it's used and how its user function is able to kind of become smoother and more efficient.
Your argument over into the adventure round.
But
if we had a 360 camera sitting right there, how is that any different? And that's a thing that we can have. We just don't have the money to actually put a 360 camera
because
there.
like you're controlling it. Because
so are you talking about like having an autonomous robot, like able to? So say for instance, I'm at home and I could put on my wireless headset for comfort. So I will be controlling a robot somewhere else that has a camera on it. Is that what you're trying to talk?
I'm talking about there being a viewing device and a recording device that are both part of the VR, that in the same way that the VR itself and the things that you stick in the corners, they talk to each other and sort of communicate where the other is. I'm talking about like two devices where, and I'm not a tech person, so maybe this is the flawed argument altogether, but two devices that talk to each other in a way where it's like, if the recording like takes a 360 of this room, and you're able to move around this room as you're recording, and you have all the different angles. You're then able to go back and explore those same angles through the visual of the VR. And if those devices are talking to each other live,
I think I see. I think I finally get what you're saying. So if we had like a drone that was controlled by your motions at home, yeah, that would be pretty cool. But it would be even cooler if you had a high-resolution headset, so you could move around your space much easier without having to trip up over.
I'm still arguing the hobo power here because I wouldn't be able to afford any of this crap.
By the way, I could put an end to that right there too. I don't have a whole lot of money. I ended up entry level with the phone, the Gear VR. Which is there's not the fancy room space thing, and you can get into that at $100 with your phone, and that's how I started off, and it's still breathtaking. Resolution's not as high, but it is entry level, and they do have some amazing games on there.
That just didn't feel VR to me. I mean, yes, technically it's VR, but it was sticking your phone in a headset, and it didn't have the same feel to me as putting on the Vive headset thing and doing that. That was cool.
I can't drive a Lamborghini. That would be sweet. So I drive a Kia. And hey, I'm moving. I'm in the space. So I think if you had top ramen and a Gear VR, you're set.
It's literally it's
and it was just all off your phone.
It's scuba goggles, and you put your phone in.
Were
the
there
scuba
any
goggles.
wires?
No.
Wireless
headset. Hey, cool. You helped me make
I said high resolution. The phones do not have a high resolution for VR.
They do now.
But there's already a wireless VR option out there, even if it's not high res.
Well, you can dissect what I was saying. But what I'm talking about is cables attached for those high end. Yeah, there is an entry level that is wireless, but it doesn't have the motion tracking or the ability to do this, and you're doing that in the game, or whatever experience. So,
and I'm just going to throw it out there that I had considered the wireless option. I think we all did at some point.
I still like your idea, though. Mix the two, and it's fabulous.
In my opinion, that's going to happen. Like, there are wires on that thing. They're going to come off.
It's coming. Yeah, it's coming. They're starting to do tracking where it's starting at the headset and tracking outward from at least when I thought I read before. I don't know how soon we're getting that. But
isn't technology cool?
2 years, 5 years.
So cool.
Anyway, the prices are coming down. I know that at least with the PlayStation VR, if you want to get into something with head tracking, you got to have a PlayStation, so it can be expensive, but you're looking under $1,000.
Hey, I'm already I've been a Sony fanboy for years, so I've got that covered.
$400 plus the Move controllers you can get at Temple.
Yeah, I hate the Move controllers.
Yeah, they're not that great.
No, seriously, there's something to work on. Fix Move controllers.
It's coming to a natural conclusion. Also, I heard what I needed like a minute ago.
And yet, let's talk.
Let's go to Fact Cam. Jackie, was there any facts that you found there?
I was looking into wireless headsets.
Did a camera fall over a bit ago? It's like I'm in the show.
Is that your spy here?
There's no wires.
Colson spy. Oh, who knew?
Yeah, I was looking into the wireless headsets that are coming to Oculus Rift and Vive. Apparently not for PlayStation VR.
Oh.
I know.
But he was talking about improving it, not necessarily that the technology is available.
Garrett, you have opinions?
Certainly. The most common gripe on the internet aligns with Matthias' views. Most people are complaining that the VR, or the entry level to VR is most complex. They are working on an problem. It's clear there's technical boundaries. Obviously, that is a high priority of the industry, just to get to wireless VR. So it's heading that direction, but it's obviously a priority in both regards. Not a lot of efforts to downsize costs. People have made it clear that that's right. What Faith's talking about actually does not exist in a live show format, but a handful of people have attempted to produce music videos. There's a handful of movies, and there's a handful of just media that is available in the context that she said it. It hasn't really taken off though. It's limited to the Vive only and to the Steam store only. That's about all I got.
All right, Derek, do you have an opinion on who gave the best argument?
The best argument, not what I would actually like,
of course,
was Matthias.
Okay. Because you think it should be cheaper?
No, not opinion. We're talking just argument. I think Matthias.
Oh, right, of course.
Matthias, all things will become, the wireless, all those other things will become part of what will inevitably be a cheaper machine. If you push the cheapness, you sell more, and ends up.
Let me rephrase. You thought he gave a great example of why it needed to be cheaper. Because
Yes.
I think he's the strongest.
He's the
I
strongest.
second notion for what it's worth.
Yes.
Jackie, do you have an opinion?
I thought Andy did well. I thought everyone did well. I had no opinion.
Okay. That
I was in the bathroom for Matthias's.
that's a good point.
That's what I was counting on. She wasn't going to be here, so
It's already
checking
been so
mine was
good.
totally going to be.
Here's the thing. I thought that Faith had the coolest idea, actually. I thought that was super rad. However, when it came down to the arguments, it's really hard to argue against things being cheaper. And I think that you were definitely able to defend why that was overall probably the first thing that needs to happen. So the point goes to Matthias.
I actually got on the scoreboard.
For what it's worth, the Google store has a $15 VR headset that appears to be made entirely out of cardboard. I'm looking at it.
I don't know why I was just like...
You were thinking about it.
And that means we're on to the speed round. Speed round. Unfortunately, Matthias, even if you just won that point, you do not have enough points to move on to the speed round.
That's okay. I'll help you trash the other two.
Yes. So if I need extra help on deciding a winner, I will come to you. I might not always come to you if it's like super clear to me, but you know, we'll see. Moving on to the speed round. Speed round music. That's to remind me of the speed round music. All right. Speed round. I will remind you how the speed round works. I will ask you a series of questions. After each question, if it's multiple choice, you must blurt it out. Whoever blurts it out first gets to pick that one and gets to go first. The other person must pick the other choice. In a case of non-multiple choice, you just have to blurt it out first. Same things apply. You get 20 seconds. Each person gets 20 seconds and then a 10-second rebuttal after both have gone. And whoever gets to 5 points first is our winner. And right now, Andy has 2 and Faith has 2. So you must win 3 questions to win.
We could be here for a minute. I'm going to throw my hand up at halfway, whatever that may be.
I just,
halfway through your 20.
and Garrett, if you would like to, you're going to be keeping the time, right?
I'm exclusively on time. I am relinquishing fact checking just so I can be extra on the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we are good, and let us begin. I already rang the bell for speed round, but I'm going to ring it again.
Alright, ring it! Speed round!
All right. Question number 1, and this is multiple choice. You must wait for me to completely finish talking to blurt out your answer. You are at GameStop, and you look inside the bargain bin, and you have to buy one of these games. Street Fighter 5 or Mortal Kombat 10.
Street Fighter 5.
That means you're Mortal Kombat 10.
Yay.
And Faith, you go first. Why Street Fighter 5 over Mortal Kombat 10?
I like the gameplay better, personally. I think it's a little bit more of a classic. I think that the characters and the combinations and the console itself are a little bit better suited to my personal gaming style. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay, 20 seconds, Andy.
I think Mortal Kombat is the greatest game ever.
Nailed it!
Okay, 10-second rebuttal, Faith.
Why?
10-second rebuttal.
10 seconds, Andy.
Because I can rip spines out, I think. I haven't played 10. At least it's not Street Fighter 5.
Wow, that was the kookiest speed round ever.
That was
Because I can rip spines out, I think.
This is why I'm glad I wasn't part of
I think
that.
Matthias gets the point.
All right. I will go to Matthias, though. Matthias, who do you think had the better argument?
Honestly, neither of them, but I hold the bias because I actually like and own 10. Its graphics are better because...
But nobody mentioned that.
I know!
Based solely on the arguments.
Oh god, based solely on the arguments, she actually made an argument.
Okay. I don't need you guys unless you've got something to say.
I got nothing.
Nothing, Jackie.
Please, go about your life.
All right, then Faith gets the point. Yay!
So well deserved.
Yeah, no, totally.
Fact checking.
Total. We're golf
It is
topic.
3-2.
What were you googling? She was googling Street Fighter 5 spine rip.
No.
But it was Mortal Kombat.
No, they
10.
all stay intact. It is 10 is the gory thing.
Question number 2. What is the better? This is a multiple choice. Which is the better mobile game? Angry Birds or Candy Crush?
Angry Birds.
I heard Angry Birds from Andy. 20 seconds.
Angry Birds is just super fun with all of the basic ones, and the Star Wars one was my favorite. You get John Williams on the score. That alone has to win over Candy Crush, which can just suck your soul and your bank account.
All right, 20 seconds, Faith.
See, I think that what you look for in a mobile game is something that is quick, that doesn't take a super long time to play, and you want it to be addictive because it's constantly on your phone. And if you're going to pay any amount of money to purchase like non-hardware that's on your phone and that you get to have on your phone every day, you kind of want it to be addictive, like really addictive.
Time.
10 seconds, Andy.
Oh, well, Angry Birds is free. There's a lot of free apps in there, and it is addictive in the sense where you have to work for stars and you have to clear a certain amount of
Time.
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 Faith, 10 seconds.
Get to play against other people, get to rank, invite your friends. It's a little bit more social, a little bit more what you want in a mobile game because you get to like actually play with other people.
Lime.
Okay, that was good. That was like a real round.
Good job, guys.
All right, going to the couch. Jackie, anything? Garrett, any opinions?
Well, yeah, no facts to check. Both everything that they said checks out kind of on a factual basis. Even though I spent an entire round tearing into Angry Birds last game,
That's
I
right.
think I'm a tiny bit in favor of Angry Birds objectively. That being said, Faith brought up the social aspect of Candy Crush, which I believe is probably the argument that needs to be made about that game.
Okay, and Derek, who made the stronger argument?
I like Angry Birds. Faith made a better argument.
Okay, Matthias, coming to you. Who do you think made the stronger argument?
It's kind of, there's nothing.
Andy, I thought you did a really good job and actually knew what you were talking about this time. All right. But unfortunately, I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Faith did have just a stronger pull on why.
Curses.
Curses!
So that is another point for Faith. If Faith wins this question, she wins the game. Andy, you must win 3 in a row to win this game. All right.
Been done.
This is not multiple choice. You must blurt it out. It could be there's like at least 6 answers to this question.
And then whoever blurts it out first goes first.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, this is a
This
chance
one,
for your
guess
punch
what
out
it
thing
is.
to come
This
up.
is fun. That we just talked about it a little bit ago. Best Mass Effect game.
Mass Effect 2.
I thought you'd be right on that.
Does he not get to make his argument first? Do I have to say something?
Oh yeah, I still need your answer before he can make his
Original.
argument. Oh, the first one. Okay.
Original.
Okay. Andy, why is Mass Effect 2?
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
Starting now?
Yeah.
Okay, Mass Effect 2 is great, mainly because the first one was good, but this carried the choices you made in the first one, and you got to see those relationships play out in the second that you didn't get to see in the first.
Okay, Faith, 20 seconds.
For me, the original, like, initial, as I went into earlier, like, totally, what am I trying to say? Like, the choices that you get to make. To me, the shock factor and the originality of the plot were just spot on, can't be beat by a sequel.
10 seconds, Andy.
I disagree with that because the sequel did carry everything on, story-wise, and you got to keep all of your looks and everything. It was just basically continuing the first story, but enhancing it with new characters.
10 seconds, Faith.
Disagree. I think the original's better because it was your first introduction to those characters, your first introduction to that style of play and that plot line.
Swine.
Am I going crazy? Did they get 20, 20, 10, 10?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
They really did.
Okay. Why am I going crazy? All right. So let's go to the
round
couch.
is
Jackie, did you have anything there?
I put him down.
Oh, he's moving.
He just realized he's going crazy.
Oh, okay. I get it. I I put it down because I don't really know much about Mass Effect, so I can't
so
really
you're out.
fact check anything. And also, I had cheese pizza and my stomach.
Okay.
She's unable to concentrate. Fact checker broken.
I knew that you would love this one because no matter who wins, Mass Effect wins.
I know!
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm going to care about you guys. That being said, we did defend like the high points of really what I think made the first one significant. The fact that it was really awe-inspiring when it first came out. No denying that. Everybody's on board with that idea. Mass Effect 2 was an objectively more successful game, and in a way that a lot of other sequels did carry on your choices from the first one and had objectively more meaningful choices. And you did touch on that. I'm going with Andy this round.
Derek?
Andy.
I agree. Sorry, Matthias, I don't even need your opinion this time.
That's okay, because I think you're going to make the opinion I was.
Goes to Andy. Yeah! Faith, you did admirable, though. Admirable.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I should have said
cut the cheese here.
I wasn't quick enough.
Alright, so.
What am I trying to say?
Give me just 10 seconds here.
Also, the score, the music score, both games.
Oh, it's so good. Okay, so this one will be multiple choice. This is question number 4. Who wins in a fight? Super Mario or Sonic the Hedgehog?
Super Mario.
Ooh, I heard it just a slight second from Andy first. So that means Andy gets Super Mario. 20 seconds.
Okay, he's got fireballs and gigantic powers, which Sonic can run fast, but he can still squish him and burn him alive.
Oh, that's it? Okay, 20 seconds, Faith.
I'm going with the D&D argument here of the dex save is often better than the strength save. Just saying. Can we take a look at halfling rogues, for example? What beats a halfling rogue? Nothing.
10 seconds, Andy.
We're talking Mario and Sonic, not D&D. So I would say in the Nintendo/Sega wars, Nintendo is just better.
And 10 seconds, Faith.
I do think that Mario is a little bit more button mashy because he has a lot more power and a better player with Sonic the Hedgehog compared to a better player with Mario.
Time! You took too long.
Okay.
The insinuation is clear.
Whew, this one is a little bit more subjective. Alright, let's go to the couch. Jackie?
No facts check. I think that Faith did well.
Okay.
I can confirm that Faith's statement about the dex save was not only clever, but also objectively true. That being said, so everything Andy said was true as well, in terms of his just raw strength.
Okay.
So it went like this. Real simple. Faith wins the first 20. Andy lost that round. Andy won the second 10 because he countered by bringing it back to where the argument needed to be, and that's in the actual question. So I think Andy won that one.
I'm going to bring it to Matthias then.
I get murdered frequently, and my brother is going to laugh about this, by Sonic. Super Smash Brothers, I routinely get destroyed because he's that much faster.
Okay.
There's no holds bar.
Based on the argument.
Based on the argument, she still won. He's the faster creature.
Okay, that's interesting because I was leaning towards Andy a little bit. But of course,
I would say your decision matters.
My decision is the one that matters, but you know, these things can happen. My opinion could be swayed and has been swayed in the past. How much are you gonna hate me, Andy, if you lose this round?
6.
Like a lot.
Oh, well, that settles it. Faith wins the game.
Nice job.
Just playing patty cake.
Right? Yeah, we were talking about fighting earlier, and I was completely lost.
Fairy dust. Oh yeah, I love it.
The broken bodies of my enemies.
The broken.
To be fair, you would have had to win 2 additional questions to win.
These things are hard.
I was.
So Faith
forget all
wins
things.
week 6.
Forget all things.
How do you feel?
It's also worth mentioning that Faith is like a collegiate debater. That is actually.
Yeah, see,
that she has
I
done
had
on
no
a national
hope.
level.
I'm just thrilled that my comms major pays off.
Yay, school!
If you're a comms major, you can win arguments on a video game show. Tell your teachers.
Faith, you
Stay
just
in
won
school, kids.
video game fights. What are you gonna do now?
Go to school tomorrow.
Put on some chapstick.
Yay! Everybody loves chapstick.
All right,
It's
guys.
not yours, Richie. It's not yours.
Thank you for watching Video Game Fights on the Rich Alvarez channel every 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. on Saturday.
Have you had people confuse it for midnight?
Yes.
Okay, that's really sad.
Of course, we are inspired by movie fights on the Screen Junkies channel. I don't want to see any. You guys are just obviously copying movie fights. That's the point. Anyways, let's go around the table. Let's give some shout outs. Faith, anything you want to plug?
You can find me at Mayamo Pocratudinous with underscores in the middle. If you don't know what it means, that's okay. That's what Google's for. Bye.
All right, Matthias, anything you want to plug?
My photography is on what is that thing? Twitter. I hate social media, seriously. Yeah. It's at Lens Druid, so you can see me take pictures of really awesome stuff. And I'm a massage therapist, but I don't have a page for it up here because I haven't had a lot of work.
Cool.
He's really good.
It's actually exceptional.
Just saying.
Woo.
There you go.
Andrew Irish, what would you like to plug?
Well, I don't have a lot, but I do have this company called Sky Lizard Studios. You can find me on Facebook at Facebook.com/Sky Lizard Studios. That's about
Really
it.
dope.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, there's not a lot on there, but that's where you guys come in.
Links below.
And then let's go to Fat Cam. Anything you guys want to plug or do anything back there?
The complaint department. Watch me and sometimes him on Twitch.
Complain.
Complain. Because it's dope. Our streams are great.
I
Top 10.
should be there, but I work in insurance. Yeah.
Cool.
Deal with that one.
Jackie, you make things.
I make things, and I also shouldn't eat.
All right, that's going to do it for us for Video Game Fights. Thank you so much for watching. And hey, you know what? I'm just saying, subscribe to the Rich Alvarez channel. Don't skip any videos because when you do, they won't show up in your sub box. None of them. And that's going to be it for this. Don't forget.
Making you work for it.
Yep, smash that like button, by the way, please. It's important.
Wreck it!
And that's all we're going to do now is say goodbye. All right, I don't know. That's all I got. You can find me on Instagram at Rich M. Alvarez. Holy crap, why didn't I say that?
I was waiting for that.
Wow.
Oh my
I
God.
never forget that. Just forgot it. All right, Rich M. Alvarez on Instagram. And now we are going to say goodbye again. Because,
Watch Derek Coulson.
And watch Derek Coulson.
Not stumble into things.
Whoa.
Thank you for watching Video Game Fights. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. And watch this video because it's really sweet.